Good morning. I hope all is doing well. Welcome to Math 1. Today is March the 26th, and I'm hoping everyone is doing well today. We're going to continue working on fractions. So we're going to start on lesson 14. We're just going to simply multiply with fractions. I'm going to go ahead and read over the instructions, and you can follow along with me. You can multiply fractions by whole numbers and fractions. To multiply fractions, you do not need to find the common denominator, but you do need to have all the numbers in the fraction form. To change a whole number to a fraction, we put the whole number in the numerator and 1 in the denominator. So if you have a 3, it's going to equal 3 over 1. Example. Roughly, 1/5 of Americans aged 15 and older engage in some form of physical activity on a daily basis. Among those who exercise, 7/10 prefer walking. Which fraction of Americans aged 15 and older walks for exercise? So first off, you're going to need to find 7/10 of 1/5. Right here. Then we're going to need to multiply the numerator. 7 times 1 equals 7. And then we're going to multiply the denominator. 10 times 5 equals 50. Then this is going to give us the fraction 7 over 50 of American population age 15 and older walks for exercise. So it's going to give you an example. It says use a model to represent the equation 1/5 times 7 over 10 equals 7/10. So we're going to start with number 1. So number 1, this represents 1/5 divide a square into 5 equal parts or 15ths and shade the leftmost column. Number 2 is going to represent 7/10. We're going to divide a square into 10 equal parts or tenths and shade the bottom 7 rows. See, this is going to be what it's going to look like in your example. So then we're going to look at the area of overlap represents the product 7/50s. The numerator 7 is represented by the number of cells with both types of shading. The denominator 50 is represented by the total of cells. So this right here, this is your example of exactly what it's going to look like. So let's look at our test example. Okay, let's look at the test example. It says number 1, Jamel ran 9/10 of a mile on Tuesday. On Thursday, he ran 5/6 as far as he did on Tuesday. How far did Jamel run on Thursday? So right here, it shows us in the example of how to work it out. And so it shows you that 9/10 times 5/6, you can just multiply it out. And then it's going to become 9 times 5 is 45. And then 10 times 6 is 60. And then it's showing you how you can reduce it. So it says it will reduce by 15. So all you're going to do is divide 45 divided by 15 equals 3. And then 60 divided by 60 divided by 15 equals 4. So there you go with 3/4. Now another way we can do this is we can easily simplify this. And so we can simplify because we know that 6 and 9 will both divide into 3. So let's go here. Cross these out. So we know 6 will divide into 3 2 times and 9 will divide into 3 3 times. And then also we know that 5 and 10, so they will both divide into each other, or divide into 5. So we know that we can cross that out. We know that 5 will divide into 5 one time, and that 5 will divide into 10 2 times. And then we just simply multiply these out. So we'll say 3 times 1 over 2 times 2. And then we're going to also get 3 over 4. So you can do these either way. All right. If you have any questions, remember you can email me or call me. Okay, so let's start off here with number 1. So number 1 is going to be plain and simple. We're just going to multiply 3 times 3 over 8. So, we're simply going to just rewrite this as, put a 1 right here. And let's just multiply it out. So we'll say 3 times 3 is 9. And then we're going to say 1 times 8 is 8. And then we're going to simply divide the 8 divided by 9. We'll go 1 time. Then 1 times 8 is 8. And we're going to subtract. So then we're going to end up with 1 and 1 8, which is C. All right, so let's look at number 2. So now we're going to multiply 1/3 times 3/4. So there's 2 different ways that we can work this out. So the first way we can do this is we can simply simplify. So we know that both the 3's will go into 3 one time. So then we're going to come out with 1 times 1 over 1 times 4. And that is going to easily give us 1/4. Okay? So we know our answer is going to be D. Or we can easily just work it out. Let me erase this real quick. The simplified part. If you don't feel comfortable with simplifying, then we can easily multiply this out. So we know that 1 times 3 is 3. And then 3 times 4 is 12. And we know we can both divide these by 3. So 3 divided by 3 is 1. And then 3 divided by 12 is 4. Come up with the same answer both times, 1/4. All right, so let's look at number 3. All right, so let's look at question number 3. It asks us which expression yields a product less than 1. And it says to select the 3 that apply. So let's see right here. Remember, we got to have 3 that's going to apply. So let's look at A. So A, it will not simplify in any way. So let's just go ahead and multiply it out. And so we know 7 times 9 is 63. And then 8 times 4 is 32. So then we know we have the smaller number on the bottom. So let's go ahead and just divide that. Different color. So let's say 32 divided by 63. It will go 1 time. Then 1 times 32 is 32. And then we'll just subtract. And we come up with 31. So the answer there is 1 and 31 over 32. Well, that is definitely not less. So let me erase this really quick. Hope y'all are enjoying my relaxing music. So let's look at B. So B, we're just going to simply put a 1 here. And it's going to equal 1 times 5 is 5. There. And we know 1 times 4 is 4. So then we're going to divide because we have the smaller number in the denominator. So 4 will divide into 5 1 times 4. So we're going to end up with 1 and 1/4. So that's definitely not smaller. Erase this real quick. So we know it's not B. So let's try C. So we know 11 times 14 is going to be 154. And then 15 times 15 is 225. And that will not reduce. And so that we know C is going to be less than 1 of our ones less. All right, so let's look at D. Go ahead and erase this real quick. Okay, so let's look at D real quick. So we know you can multiply this out. 3 times 7 equals 21. And then 6 times 2 equals 12. We know we've got the denominator on the bottom smaller. So we know we can divide 12 divided by 21. We'll go 1 time. We can borrow. So our answer is going to be 9. So we have 9 and 1 over 12. And you can reduce that, and it can be 1 and 3 over 4. So we know D is definitely not an answer. Let me erase. Get back over here. Okay, so let's look at E. So E, we can just simply multiply E out. 5 times 2 is going to equal 10. And then 6 times 3 is 18. And we know both of these will simplify, so we can divide those by 2. And then we're going to get 5 over 9. And so we definitely know that E is one of our answers. Well, we can always do the other way, and let's see if we can do this. Let's simplify this here. So we can go, we know that 5 and 3 will not go into each other, but 2 and 6 will. And we know that 2 will divide into 2 1 time, and 2 will divide into 6 3 times. So that's where we're going to get 5 over 9, the exact same answer. All right, does anybody have any questions? Remember just to feel free to let me know. Let's get back up. Let's look at F. So F would be very simple for us to do. Just put a 1 over 1 and make that whole number into a fraction. And then we can say 1 times 3 is 3, and 1 times 4 is 4. So there again, we know that that is smaller than 1, and that is going to be one of our answers. All right, so let's go to number 4. All right, so let's look at number 4. Number 4, it says, which model represents the product? 3/9 times 2/9. So let's just simply work it out. So let's say 2 over 9 times 3 over 9. So we know that 2 times 3 is 6, and 9 times 9 is 81. And we know these will both reduce, divided. We can divide those by 3. And then we're going to come up with 2 over 27. And then we can always reduce. So we can say 2/9 times 3 over 9. We know that 2 and 9 will not reduce, but 3 and 9 will. So we know that 3 will divide into 3 1 time, and then 9 will divide into 3 3 times. So then we're going to come up with 2 times 1 is 2, and 3 times 9 is 27. So there's our answer there. And so when you look here. Right here is D, is your answer. 2 with 27. Alright, so let's go to number 5. Number 5 says, each box of dog treats is 5/4 pounds. There are 8 boxes in a carton. How many pounds of dog treats are in the carton? We can simply write number 5 as 5/4 times 8/1. Just multiplying it out, we know that's going to be 5 times 8 is 40. And then 4 times 1 is 4. You know, this will divide evenly into 4, both of these. And so we know this is going to be 4 divided by 40 is going to equal 10. And then 4 divided by 4 is going to equal 1. And so our answer is going to be 10 pounds, D. Now, if we wanted to simplify this, we could easily say, write our problem over again, 5/4 times 8/1. And we know we can't really do anything with the 5 and the 1, but we can with the 4 and the 8. So they both will divide into 4. 4 will divide into 4 one time, and then 4 will divide into 8 2 times. And there we go, 5 times 2 is 10, and then 1 times 1 is 1. It's going to simplify into 10. Alright, so let's go forward. Let's go on to number 6. Alright, so let's look at number 6. Number 6 says, Zach folds a sheet of paper in half along with its length. He unfolds the paper and folds it into 4s along its width. Which fraction part of the paper is each of the rectangles formed by the fold? Okay, so we're going to say 1/2 times 1/4. It's easy. 1 times 1 is 1, and 2 times 4 equals 8. So our answer is going to be B. Number 7, it says, for items 7 and 8, use the formula A equals L times W, where A is the area, L is the length, and W is the width. So number 7 says, the size of a quarter page ad in a newspaper is 5/6 foot long by 1/2 foot wide. What is the area of the ad? So first what we're going to do is we're going to say 5/6, and we're going to multiply that by 1/2. Simply multiply it out. 5 times 1 is 5. 6 times 2 is 12. And there we are. A. 5/12 square foot. Let's look at number 8. Number 8 reads, Olivia is making a quilt with squares that measures 3/4 of a foot long by 3/4 of a foot wide. What is the area of 1 square? So we're going to simply multiply this out. 3 times 3/4 times 3/4, and that's going to equal 9/16 square, which is A. Alright, like I said, if y'all have any questions or anything, you can always email me. My email address is math1jgcc@gmail.com, or you can call me here on center. Hope y'all have a great day and are staying safe. See y'all, hopefully see y'all soon.